reality attractions and exhibits. For instance, you can interview actor Danny DeVito.
Hi, welcome back to the bench. Let me turn this radio off. It's the RCA Strato World 3BX 671. Been a long day. Anyway, tonight's video it's all about the restoration of the case, cleaning the brass, what I do. I've never worked with leather cases before, so the cleaning and restoration of that is totally new to me. I watched some videos on how to do it, YouTube videos obviously, and the case came out really good. So you'll see that as we go along, and the mystery box I'm going to expose at the end of the video. I talk a little bit about it, but yep, I got a mystery box coming up at the end of the video. So with that, do what you're supposed to do. Click like, click subscribe, and leave a message, leave a comment. Take care. Hope you enjoy this. Returning subscribers, I hope you enjoy this as well. Again, this is an ongoing series of the RCA Strato World 3BX 671. Yeah. And this is all about the case cleaning and case restoration. So hope you guys enjoy this. Okay, so at the end of this video, I'm going to open up this box. Don't know if this is going to be a restoration or just an exploration. What's in there I've never used. So I will, at the end of this video, I will open this up to everybody so that you can see what's in there. And then let me know what you think. Should I or shouldn't I restore it? I mean, I know what it is. I just don't know if I should tackle this and do what needs to be done to it. I don't even know what's wrong with it. But again, this was given to me, and we'll see. At the end of the video, I will open it up so that everybody can see what it is. If you have any ideas, there's a little label there. If you zoom in, you might be able to read it. Okay, so here we are on the RCA Strato World RCA Victor Strato World. This case needs to be cleaned. I've never done leather work before, so this is going to be new to me, and I just need you to bear with me because I don't know how it's going to come out. This is all part of it. When you're restoring a radio, just doing the electronics isn't just the end. So what I've got here is some saddle soap. Let me show you the lid. It's Kiwi saddle soap. Okay? Never used it before, so let's see how this works. It says to use a damp cloth, lather it up a little bit, and start rubbing it. Start lathering it up. Probably not lathering it enough, but we'll see. You can see the, I don't know, I'm trying to look in the camera. Getting some of the dirt off, it looks like. It says you may have to do this more than once. I've looked at YouTube videos, like everybody does. Want to learn how to do something, pull up a YouTube video. It says you may have to do it more than once. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. And a lot of brass here has got to be polished too, so can't leave that go undone. Let's see. I don't know, folks. First time for everything. All right, and it says to take a damp cloth, and wipe it off. Well, I must say, I don't know how well you can see this, but I can tell you, it looks better already. Probably going to let it dry and then do it again. I've got the sides to do. So you kind of get the point. I'm going to continue to work on this. You don't need to see me doing the whole thing. It's going to take a while. So I'm going to stop it. I'll get back to this, let you know how I'm making out. Okay, so I've cleaned the whole case. Actually went over a couple areas twice with the saddle soap. It's looking 1000% better. Not sure if I'm going to go over it again or just give it a coat of what's it called, leather, like a minx oil, something to put oil back into the leather. Like, you can't see it real well, but the edges start to dry up, and you also get, let's turn this here so you can see it a little bit better. The stitching starts to dry out, and if that happens, you got bigger problems. That's one of the reasons I always, in a case like this, I always look for something that has good stitching on it, because I'm not going to be able to fix that. And this one was in pretty good shape, except for being exceptionally dirty. So I don't know, I might go over it again in a couple areas, but again, it's looking pretty good. The next thing would be to put some mink oil on it. Okay, they say to use neat's foot oil. I was going to use this, but it specifically said to stay away from oils with silicone in them. So I'm not going to use this mink oil. I'm going to get some, I'm going to have to go out and get it, so I don't have it right now to work on it, but this has to thoroughly dry before I can do anything anyway. So I'll give it another cleaning with the saddle soap, pick up some neat's foot oil. I got a place I can get that. There's a leather place in the next town over, shoe repair, they probably have it, so I'll pick it up there. Once I do that, I'll let you know. I'll let you see how it turns out. Okay, so here we are. It's actually the next day. I did do a couple more cleanings on this. It's come out pretty well. I don't know if you can see it, but it's looking pretty good. So the next thing, yeah, I had this kiwi mink oil, and I also picked up a can of the kiwi conditioning oil. What do I know? Never done this before, but I'm going to go with this. I actually tried it on the bottom of the case. I like the way this goes on and cleans up better than the other one. So I'm going to use this for what it's worth. I got my little brush here, trying to show you this in the camera, and it's a matter of getting a little bit on the brush. I want to get this specifically concerned about getting this into the fiber of the thread of the stitching. That's because if that goes, it's going to look horrible. So I want to get this in. Yeah, I put a little bit too much on there. I'm going to shift over, do the same thing. I'm going to turn this a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. I'm going to put a little bit more on. Yeah, more on. Get this, rub this into along the edge, because that's like an exposed edge of the leather. That's the end grain. And That's going to take a little bit more. Make sure that that all stays healthy. And we're just going to apply this with a brush. I don't know, maybe I should have cleaned the, people can tell me, maybe I should have cleaned this with the, done the brass before I did all of this. I don't know. I'm an electronics guy. I'm not really a restoration guy, but again, I watched the YouTube on this, a couple YouTubes. According to them, looks like I'm doing it okay. I'm rubbing the conditioner in. You gotta get it all over. To be honest with you, I've already done the front. The sides are, I don't know, let's show them to you. This is not leather. This is some type of a brown plastic, fiber, or whatever. But it's definitely not leather. This is leather though. So we'll get this rubbed in. To make sure that it's rubbed in well, I've got a nice pad. I picked this up at the dollar store. And I'm just gonna rub this in. Helps take off some of the excess. Rub this stuff into the leather as best I can. Now, eventually I'm going to have to give it a couple hours to dry. That's what it says. Then I'll have to buff the whole thing down. Just get a soft cloth as a buffer. Tell you, putting this on the leathers, there's a tear spot. Somebody had a label on here, and when they pulled the label off, they damaged the cheap little thin coating of leather that's on here. Nothing I can do about that other than to protect it going forward. Yeah, so this is how we do our work. Yeah, again, I am not a leather worker, so guys can probably chime in if I'm doing something wrong. I'm sure you will, hopefully. So I don't do it wrong. I've got a leather Transoceanic 600. I forget, was it a Y600, an R600, but it's in leather, brown leather instead of that Tolex. And that's the one I'm going to be doing eventually. I'm more fond of the Transoceanics than I am the RCA. It's a nice radio. This leather treatment. See, even this brass has to be polished. I should have done that first, but yeah, what the hell. Living right. There's a lot of speckles on this leather here, so I'm not sure what it was. Some of it came off with the cleaning. I cleaned it back here. I cleaned this 3 times and it didn't seem to come off. All of it anyway. Again, I want to rub in, make sure the stitching gets all of that. What does that look like on camera? Yeah, you can see it's kind of like a greased pig over here. This is, I said greased pig, but it's funny, I read the ingredients and it's got lard oil in it, so it's actual oil. Natural oil. Bad for the cholesterol. Lard. Okay. So again, I'm gonna take my pad here. I'm gonna rub this into the leather as best I can. Flip it over. I think this is going to come out nice. Got to get the edge. That's not actually leather, that's plywood, the way they did it. Okay. Alright, so this is all greased up. Now, like I said to you, I'm really making a mess here on my bench. The next part, you can see this was all done already about an hour and a half ago. I went upstairs and ate dinner. It says to buff it. I'll buff it with a shoe brush. What else would you use? Using shoe polish and stuff, and buff it with a shoe brush. All right. Now, I should take I'm going to close this back up because I'm done with this. I don't need to put another coat of this stuff on. I need a soft cloth, which I have here, to really buff it. And anybody that's watching, I want to thank the subscribers that have come back. I want to thank everybody that's watching this for watching it. If you haven't subscribed, I'd really like it if you would click like, subscribe, leave a comment. And if I'm doing something wrong with this leather, let me know. You can see how nice it's coming out, though. This look is really good. I mean, if you look back at the first video where this thing wasn't even cleaned, yeah, you can see the edges of the leather deteriorating. That's why this needed to be done, to start protecting the leather. Again, the bottom I already did, just to see how shiny it is. It's looking good. Not big on polishing shoes. You know, I do it a little bit, but not a big shoe polisher. So I'm a little nervous about how this will come out, but it seems to be coming out pretty good. All right. I can't do the back because that was just done. But look how nice, I don't know if you can see it look how nice that leather looks in there now. That really looks good. Got to figure out a way to clean out. Have to get a Q-tip, get in there and clean out as best I can. I don't know if this was supposed to be a bright brass RCA Victor. It's a little dull now, but all right. So now, once the couple hours go by, I'm going to stop. Once a couple hours go by, I will come back down to the bench and do what I'm doing here, do this to the rest of the radio case. Alright, so it's got to be left to sit, soak in. That's what it's supposed to do. Alrighty, I'll bring you back for the next part once it's all done. Then I have to clean the brass as well, so I'll do this all in one shot, hopefully. Okay, it's been a couple hours. I'm gonna buff this down with a brush. I'm doing just like I would do with shoes. Buff it down with a brush first. Really looks good. I'm pleased with the outcome. Again, if anybody has any suggestions, I mean, I'm out of my wheelhouse with this. There's some staining. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's some staining over here that I could not get out with the saddle soap. I don't know what that is, but again, this looks really good. It's cleaned up very nicely. Okay, so the next thing, we did the brush. Now we take our soft cloth and we just give it a nice again, you guys don't really need to see all of this, but while I'm doing this, if you remember a little bit earlier in the video, I talked about the 1L6 tube, and the radio wasn't working. I checked the 1L6 that was in there did not read good on the tester, so I dug another tube out, which was better, not new old stock, but it was better. And putting that in along with replacing that sand resistor and getting rid of the selenium rectifier and putting a silicone diode in, the radio worked. So I said, for the hell of it, I wonder how that radio would work now that the power supply is working properly. So I put the old 1L6 in, and lo and behold, it seemed to work as good as the second one I put in. That was only testing. Because it was out on the bench, I wasn't able to get it up onto the other bands in the radio. So again, I don't know how it's going to perform on the higher bands. It seems to perform well on the broadcast band, the 550 to 1600 broadcast band. So that seemed to work pretty good. And this has come out awesome. I'm really happy with the way this looks. I'm going to start working on the brass now, see if I can clean this brass up a little bit, and we'll take care of that as we go. Okay, so do the polish up on the brass. Again, I don't know how this is going to come out because this brass looks like it's a thin brass plating that's on there. My Simichrome polish, I use this a lot for polishing work, and I can't get this handle off, so it's all got to be done by hand as I go. I don't know how well I'm going to be able to get it, but we'll take it a little bit at a time, and we'll see how it goes. This piece here holds the handle. I don't even know if that's brass or not because I can't get it to do anything. I do a little bit at a time because I don't want to mess up the case. I just, probably, like I said, I probably should have cleaned. You could see, I think you can see how much shinier that brass is now that I've done a little cleaning on it. Again, it's not going to be perfect because I can't get it all off. I don't know if you can see it. Gotta get some light on it for you. I don't have 5 hands. Here's what that brass looks like now. And I'll polish that up with the Simichrome and then show it to you. Again, little pieces of material. These are old shop rags. Just take a little piece. Don't want to glob it on. You don't need a lot. Just put a little bit of Simichrome on. That's it. Again, I'm not looking for perfection. I just want it to look a little bit better than it is. And you got to remember, this radio didn't just come out of the factory. And I don't intend it to look like it just came out of the factory. It's not going to happen. But I want to make it look as good as I can. This brass is stained a little bit. I'm doing this real time. You can see. I'll show you this. I'm not going to subject you to this whole thing, but I get this back over here again. You can see the difference. Hopefully you can see the difference between the two. There's some staining on the side that I worked on, the right side. Some staining on it, but it's definitely shinier than the other. So I'll keep working on this brass and then show it to you when I'm done. Okay, so let me turn the radio down. I've got it playing because I like things to play. Okay, I've polished up the brass. I'm going to take you off the stand, so now I'll make you seasick. But I do want to get in here, and you can see a little bit shinier. It doesn't show up as well on the camera, but they are shiny. Okay, that's what I was looking for. Even these bars, these are actually the antenna leads. You can see even, I don't know if you can see it. Go down here. The clips have all been shined up. This, I don't know. It doesn't take a shine, that's for sure. Worked on that. Open up. I've cleaned the dial plate off. Shined that up a little bit. Again, it looks like there's some pitting. This might be a plated material. I see some pitting going on here. Not sure what this material is. I thought it was aluminum. It could be. I don't know if you can see it or not. There's nothing I can do about that, but I did clean it up, polish it. So this is all clean now. What I need to do now is swing over to the radio. You can see I've got parts laying out here, capacitors, and I need to get into the radio and start replacing these capacitors. I've been dragging my feet at that because I've been working and doing some other things, but yeah, this is 5 watts, and I've decided I'm actually gonna leave this in. And the reason I'm gonna leave it in was the other resistor that was there. Remember, this was split in 2 parts. There was a sand resistor that had a 55 and a 75 ohm sections, and the one side was if your power dropped down, you would flip the switch and it would go through the 55 ohm resistor instead of the 75 ohm resistor, and then give you enough power to run the set. Well, I don't think that's going to happen nowadays. The average supply here's my supply. coming into my house. It's over 130 volts. We're talking probably 9 o'clock at night. And yeah, it's so I'm going to leave that in. I'm now getting the proper voltages, and you could hear the radio was playing, and that's the original tube. Now, the guy who built this radio, I'm just going to go in real quick here. The guy who designed and built this radio. Yeah, let's see. Let's see. Down in here is where that 1L6 tube is. It's a nightmare trying to get it back in there. You can't see the pins. You're basically doing it by feel, trying to get in between the IF can, and you have to put this, you have to turn it all the way down, close it, fully closed, and you still have a nightmare getting it in there. Trying to do this inside the case, I can't understand how you would get it done. I really don't. So that's the original tube that was in there. I don't know if you guys heard it playing before. Flip it back on. I got a lot of fluorescent. The buzzing is the fluorescent bulbs that I have. Fluorescent lights over an electronic workbench. They're real good. But I don't know how well it's going to work on the higher bands. So for now, I'm leaving it in there. Got it on this antenna. I turn that light fluorescent bulb off. And this is Bloomberg radio. There is some hum because I haven't changed the filter caps, but we're getting there.
I call him Gregory Isaac.
A little reggae. Okay. Pick it up next time.
Original.
Remember, I want to thank the YouTube subscribers that I do have. I want to thank them for tuning back in. I want to thank all you people who are not subscribers that are watching. I would really appreciate if you would click like and subscribe for future videos. And at the end of this video, I'm going to show you what was on the bench before. Alrighty. Okay, so here it is. It's at the end of the other video. I said I was going to put this in. This was given to me by a friend, and somebody gave it to him. And a lot of times that's how I wind up with things. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. This is a General Radio Megohm bridge. I mean, the instructions are here on how to get the light out of the way. Instructions are right there on the lid on how to use it. The inside looks extremely good condition. I haven't taken this out yet. There's 4 screws here. Looks like somebody has because they're loose. We'll see how that goes. I've taken the screws out of the other side, and you can see it's on the dirty side in there. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to restore it or just, I don't know, sell it, get rid of it, give it to somebody that might be using it. This is a Megohm bridge. This is designed to read extremely high ohms up into the megohms. So in other words, if this is on 10 and this is on a 1, that means it's 10 megohm. Clip it, moving this up to here, that's 100, 1,000, 10,000 megohms. These are megohms. They're not just ohms, they're megohms. So reads extremely high resistances. I don't have a use for it, but it's pretty cool, and I'll be playing around with it. We'll see. Let me see how easy it is to get this out of the case. Okay, I accidentally hit the button, shut the camera off. So let me pause this, and we'll get right in there. This is a microamp meter. Pretty cool. Yeah. Pretty cool instrument. Never used one. Don't know how to use it. Got a lot of knobs on it. We like knobs. All right, so let me pause this. Okay, so here's the inside. I'm gonna drop the camera. Here's the inside. Look at the contacts on this thing. Woo. Heavy duty. Heavy duty. Pretty interesting. Not sure what tube that is. I think there's 5 tubes in this piece of equipment. But again, yeah, we'll eventually fire it up, see if it works at all, if it starts up, and see what we can do with it. I don't know. Maybe we will restore it. Maybe we won't. But again, I just thought this would be cool. This is the rheostat. Very fine wires over in here. There's very fine wires that this is riding on. So, yeah, it's a pretty cool instrument. So, yeah. All right. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. And remember, like, subscribe, and leave a comment. What do you guys think I should do with this, or attempt to do with it? I don't know. I've tackled some pretty heavy stuff before, but this thing weighs a ton. So, all right, guys. Thanks for stopping in. Look forward to seeing you all on the next go-around. And leave a comment. What do you think I should do with this Megohm bridge?